Chapter 3, The Shadows of Injustice. The city of Ottawa, the heart of Canadian governance, stood proudly beneath the crisp, azure sky. Its streets were adorned with monuments of national heritage and the elegant facades of parliamentary buildings. But behind this grandeur, shadows loomed, and the underbelly of Canadian politics concealed a labyrinth of corruption and deceit. Amidst this political maze, Margaret Walker, a tenacious investigative journalist, navigated a web of falsehoods with unwavering determination. With her office tucked away in a nondescript building on Sparks Street, she had spent years exposing politicians who had strayed from the path of public service into the quagmire of personal gain. Margaret had, over the years, become a beacon for whistleblowers and insiders, those brave enough to step into the light and reveal the darkest secrets of those in power. Her latest source, who went by the pseudonym Atlas, was ready to expose a high-ranking minister's involvement in a scandal that could shake the very foundation of Canadian politics. Atlas was a government insider who had grown disillusioned with the rot at the core of the nation's power structures. They had, at great personal risk, compiled a dossier of incriminating evidence, ready to be delivered into the hands of the one journalist who could ensure that justice was served. Margaret's small, dimly lit office resembled a war room, with a large corkboard displaying the intricate connections between politicians, corporations, and lobbyists. Documents and photographs were strewn across her cluttered desk, an ever-growing puzzle she aimed to piece together to reveal the truth. As she scrutinized Atlas's files, a photo of a clandestine meeting in a posh downtown restaurant caught her attention. It featured a high-ranking government official, Minister Richard Mathis, shaking hands with an influential corporate magnate, Adrian Sterling. Whispers in the political circles suggested that this meeting held the key to a vast network of corruption that extended its sinister grip into the heart of the nation's policies. In Vancouver, in a cramped and dimly lit apartment, another key player in the unfolding drama was deeply entrenched in their quest for justice. Brian Chang, a brilliant young computer programmer with an unyielding belief in government transparency, had infiltrated the digital infrastructure of government servers, unearthing hidden records of backroom deals and illicit transactions. Brian had uncovered a digital breadcrumb trail that led to a clandestine slush fund where corrupt politicians stashed away ill-gotten gains. It was a discovery that had the potential to bring down not just individuals, but an entire system built on deceit and self-interest. In Toronto, Amanda and Jake were determined to do their part in unveiling the shadows of injustice. They had been following a lead that connected the same corrupt officials with a dubious construction contract that had cost taxpayers millions of dollars. Their investigation was inching closer to revealing a web of embezzlement and fraud. The city's dimly lit alleys and bustling cafes were the backdrop for Amanda and Jake's covert meetings with sources who had decided to come forward. Fear and excitement mingled in the air as they heard hushed revelations about rigged bids, payoffs, and the erosion of public trust. The stage was set, the characters in position, and the shadows of injustice loomed ominously, threatening to consume those who had dared to confront them. As the web of corruption began to unravel, the nation was about to confront the shocking reality of the system it had trusted for so long, igniting a collective outrage that would fuel the SCNC's resolve to bring about lasting change. In the labyrinthine corridors of power, darkness clung to the very stones of Parliament Hill. The members of the SCNC, although not aware of Margaret Walker's ongoing investigation, could sense the pervasive cloud of corruption and deceit that hung over the heart of their nation's democracy. It was this very darkness that fueled their determination to expose the shadows that had betrayed the people. As Margaret Walker meticulously pieced together the evidence in her dimly lit office, she knew that what she held in her hands was more than just a story. It was a potential revolution in the making, a chance to hold those in power accountable for their transgressions. Her fingers trembled as she reached for her phone, her investigative work about to collide with the carefully crafted plans of the SCNC. Brian Chang, deep in the heart of Vancouver, had uncovered a digital trove of deceit, a vault of hidden records that exposed the intricate web of corruption that ensnared politicians and corporate interests. His computer screen illuminated his face, casting a surreal glow on his determined expression. The digital breadcrumbs he had followed revealed a trail that seemed to lead directly to Minister Richard Mathis. Amanda and Jake's investigation in Toronto had reached a critical juncture. In a quiet coffee shop, the two journalists huddled over the incriminating documents they had collected. The contract was a smoking gun, evidence that pointed to the collusion between government officials and unscrupulous businessmen, money funneled away from public coffers and into the pockets of the corrupt elite. Unknown to each other, these characters, from the intrepid journalist to the brilliant hacker to the investigative journalist, were on the verge of revealing a truth so profound it would shake the very foundations of Canada's political landscape. The shadows of injustice were about to be torn asunder, and the consequences of their revelations would ripple far beyond their understanding. Meanwhile, the members of the SCNC had also been gathering their own damning evidence, meticulously connecting the dots between politicians, corporations, and their shadowy backers. Their determination to expose corruption and demand justice had led them down a perilous path. Each revelation, each secret uncovered, was a step closer to their ultimate goal of reclaiming their nation from the grip of the corrupt. In this chapter of Shadows and Secrets, the characters of this unfolding drama are on a collision course with the forces of corruption. As the darkness began to retreat, the light of truth pierced through, revealing a path that could either lead to justice and redemption or to a dangerous confrontation with those who held the reins of power. The SCNC's resolve to bring the shadows of injustice to light was about to meet the relentless determination of those who had sworn to uphold the principles of democracy. In the dimly lit offices, the digital realms, and the quiet coffee shops, the characters each took a deep breath, ready to share their discoveries with the world. The revelations they held were like keys to a hidden kingdom of corruption, a kingdom that had long thrived in the shadows, far from the prying eyes of the citizens it affected. Margaret Walker pressed the send button on her email, sharing the photograph of the clandestine meeting with her trusted editor. Her heart raced as she imagined the consequences of her actions, the tremors that this revelation would send through the political elite. The email was like a beacon of truth, a torch of justice, illuminating the dark corners of the nation. Chang initiated the upload of his findings to a secure whistleblower platform, his fingers moving with a mix of trepidation and resolve. The digital files contained the evidence that could unmask the corrupt, forcing them into the unforgiving light of scrutiny. As the upload progress bar filled, Brian knew that there was no turning back. The line between hacker and hero had blurred. Amanda and Jake, with their incriminating documents, prepared to confront the unscrupulous businessmen who had profited from the nation's misfortune. They could sense the reckoning that was drawing near, a reckoning that would lay bare the corruption festering within their city. With their exposé ready for publication, they would soon unleash a storm upon the political landscape. As the shadows of injustice began to lift, the nation remained blissfully unaware, the citizens engrossed in their daily lives. But the tides of change were gathering strength, and the SCNC, the harbinger of this change, was waiting in the wings. The whispered conspiracy that had fueled the SCNC's existence was nearing its climax. The tension within the organization was palpable as they prepared to unveil a meticulously crafted plan that would shake the foundations of the Canadian government. The characters who had uncovered the truth were like threads in a complex tapestry, threads that were about to weave together into a larger narrative. The bridge between exposing corruption and the audacious coup planned by the SCNC was nearing completion, and the nation stood on the precipice of a transformation, unaware of the tempest about to engulf it.